to this video. My name is Eva, and in this video I want to talk about toxic positivity. Why? Because it's such an important topic, and I wish that everyone would understand this topic. And for me it was so healing and helpful to learn about this whole concept of toxic positivity. So very easily simplified, toxic positivity is the belief that we should always stay positive no matter what. And to a certain extent, I love the philosophy of wanting to look at the glass half full and feeling excited about life and thinking about the good things in life, and that's really beautiful. But still, it's so important to also recognize that as humans, we can allow and we should allow ourselves to feel all emotions, and all emotions have a certain place that is completely valuable and important. So for me, a little bit about my life, I have in two ways this toxic positivity has affected me. So the first one was when I was doing trauma therapy in the year of 2024 and it was for me the hardest time of my life so far. I got really sad, and not just sad, I got really low with my mental health, because it was just so much to deal with. And it's comparable to, for example, if you lose a loved one, just a lot of loss and a lot of grief and a lot of just very difficult emotions. And it took me a long time. Like, I feel like in the whole year of 2024, I was really just surviving. I was like crying, working, sleeping, crying, eating, crying, working, and really struggling a lot. And it was really a tough time in my life. And it took me a full year of crying every day, a couple of hours. And then slowly I'm getting better. And now it's a lot of months have passed since the year of 2024, and I'm still healing from the whole year of 2024. And now the toxic positivity has come in my life with people like friends or people who care for me, and I appreciate the care, and I think that's really beautiful. And I say things such as, it could be worse, don't be so negative, just be positive, you have to just think positive thoughts, just go for a walk, those types of phrases. And while I appreciate it, because it probably comes from a caring and loving perspective, still it's so important to make people understand that if you suffer from certain loss, because for example you lost your sister or your mom or your dad or your child, whatever it is, or you go to trauma therapy, etc., and you have been through difficult things, and you, as a consequence, of course you will feel sad, and you will not just feel sad but sometimes hopeless and like really very horribly sad for a very long time. And it's not your fault. Like, if you are sad for a very long time, it's because you have lost someone, or because you have experienced certain things that were really tough. It just means that you got hurt very badly. And I think that's really important to realize that, because with those like short sentences such as, oh, just go for a walk, it's like, I'm not stupid, like, I obviously know that going for a walk is healthy, and thinking positive is healthy, and I'm doing challenges. But when it comes to losing a certain person or going through grief, you can experience two emotions at the same time. Like, I can have a fun time with friends, and still I can feel rotten and dead and broken inside, and I can be grateful for beautiful things happening in my life, and at the same time I can feel that I just want to cry. So both emotions can be present, and it's just a lot more complex than just say, hey, you have to go for a walk. And for me it feels very dismissing if someone says that to me. Obviously I know it usually comes from a place of a person that cares for me, so I appreciate that, but still it makes me feel as if it's my fault that I'm struggling. And that's horrible. Like, I have gone through difficult things in my life, and that's why I feel sad. It's not my fault that I feel sad. It's the fault of certain things that happened to me, and that's why I feel sad. And I need the time that I need to heal and recover. And if I feel sad for a long time, it usually means that I have been hurt very, very, very much. And it's not so simple to just say like, just be happy. Or also what I've heard is like, you just need to work more. That's like with the older generation, like boomer generation, sometimes I hear it. Yeah, you just have to work more. But there are certain things in life you cannot work yourself out of grief. It doesn't matter. Yes, you can suppress emotions, and that's another thing I will talk about in this video, but you cannot work yourself out of grief. It's not possible. The only way, and that's something that I'm learning in therapy, is to heal is really to feel it. Like if you want to release emotions and you want to break generational cycles and all of that, it's really important that you feel it, that you process your pain, no? And you process your grief, and that's really how you can become lighter, like that whole feeling aspect. And that's really, really important. And for me, that's something that I think is really something that people have to consider, and to understand this whole concept of toxic positivity, because it's not my fault that I had to go through such a tough time in the year of 2024. It just because I got hurt so much, no? So I'm already doing my best, and I think also people who are suffering, usually, of course, there might be exceptions, etc., but usually people don't like to suffer. Like in the year of 2024, I cried and I worked and I cried, and at night I had like nightmares, or like was feeling hopeless and all of that. And it was a tough time. And if I could have had a better experience, I would have chosen it, no? So I think that's really important, that, for example, for you, if you have, for yourself, of course, if something happens to you, like a major loss or those types of things, and you have a lot of grieving to do, that it's okay to take the time that you need. And if it takes you maybe years, that's completely normal according to certain things that happen to us. It's not something that you can fix in a day, no? And sometimes when we just got really hurt, it just takes the time that it takes. And no amount of like people saying to you, oh, just work harder, or just be positive, it doesn't fix it, because many things are just way too complex. And it's actually really important to feel the emotions. And actually some like quote that my therapist told me, which I appreciate and I love so much, is that there is a lot of bravery in feeling, because what a lot of people do is they don't feel emotions, no, they just avoid them. And for me, some years ago, I was actually attracted to that type of man. I was like, wow, this man who is so stoic, no, or who doesn't show his emotions, he's so strong and he has everything under control. And now that I have matured a little bit, I can realize that this is not really something I'm attracted anymore, because just because you suppress emotions doesn't mean that you can navigate them. And what's really healthy and brave is if you can face emotions and you can let that pain go through you and you can transform it into something positive. If you can stop certain cycles and you can take all that pain and you can let it go through you and you transform it into helping other people or kindness with boundaries and all of that, no? So that's something that I think is amazing and beautiful. So that's really, really important. So if you have someone in your life, for example, your friend who has lost maybe a father or a mom, whatever, the best thing that you can say to them is, instead of saying, oh, just, it's been a month, so go on with your life, or, oh man, at least he's not suffering anymore, like it's better to be dead than suffering. No, instead of saying that, you can say to your friend, hey, thank you for sharing, I'm there for you. Whenever you need my help with anything, I don't judge you, like I'm here for you. And then it's really, really important to do that. And another thing why this toxic positivity is also harmful is because it can lead to emotional pressure, like all of that suppressed emotions, because that's something that I grew up with, kind of this mentality of like kind of just push through it, no? And like if it, like just push through it, and like don't be sad, focus on the positive, just push through it. And because of that mindset that I grew up with, I suppressed a lot of negative emotions. I was like, I'm this happy person, I want other people to be happy, people like it when I'm happy, and I was kind of like the sunshine, no? But I was the sunshine, yes, because I'm quite like naturally I was just born being kind of more cheerful in a way, but still I leaned too heavily into that role, and I was like, okay, people don't like it when I'm sad, so I'm not gonna be sad anymore. But what happens if you don't allow yourself to grieve and to be sad about certain situations? Eventually you just break. And for me, I broke down in the year of 2024, and for 1 year I cried every day, all the time, basically, no? Because all of that suppressed emotions, they just erupted one day. And it's really important to process emotions, because if you don't, it can also lead to certain health conditions. There's a lot of connection between the mindset, or not the mindset, but mental health and your body. So yeah, really, really important to understand it. And it can also lead to shaming people, no? If you say things such as, oh, you should already be better by now, or you should be healed by now, or you should just go for a walk, it can feel like this person is not, like if someone says that to me, it can feel like now I have to be ashamed of myself for not being healed enough, or not being fast enough in my healing journey. But each healing journey is so different, and it's okay if, for example, for some people it takes more years, and for other people it takes less years, and everything is okay, because healing is, of course, there's those 5 different stages of healing, and of like processing grief, like denial, anger, etc., etc. But still, each person, like usually each person processes grief and trauma in very specific different ways also. And for some people, for example, if they have something traumatic happen to them, they are good, like quote unquote good, they suppress it for a certain period of time, and then eventually when they feel safe, let it be after some weeks or after some years, they start to grieve and they start to heal. So it's not like, okay, you're better or worse because it takes you more or less time to heal from grief. There is no competition. It's not you're less worthy or more worthy because you're faster getting back to your normal self, no? So really, really important. And that's really what I want to say with this video, is to be careful what you say to people who are going through a tough time, like people who have depression or people who have experienced certain loss. Be careful what you say to those people, and even if you don't understand what the person is going through, because you might have not gone through that. And sometimes I'm actually really happy if people don't understand it, because I'm like, man, you're lucky and you don't even know it, you don't even understand it. So if you don't understand it, the best thing that you can do is to just say, hey, thank you for opening up to me, I know it's difficult and I'm here for you and I support you. And that's really the best thing that you can say, because that's really, really important, because each person deserves first to be multidimensional, and that's something that I'm working on. Like, I think up to 2024, I was living a certain version of myself, of being like always optimistic, always happy, and like, yeah, just people pleasing and all of that. And I think that with this therapy, I'm learning to be more myself and to allow myself to first take up space and also talk about my problems, and to not just talk about my problems, but allow myself to be sad and all of that. So just, I'm allowed to be a multi-dimensional person, and so are you. And if you're struggling because you have experienced certain loss in your life, take the time that you need, and you're doing great, and you don't have to justify nothing. So that's really, really important. So feeling optimistic and positive is great, but dealing with loss or certain trauma, it's so much more complex than just going for a walk or like writing positive affirmations. It's a long journey. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and that's okay. So it's just a lot more complex. So be careful what you say to people. That's also why I disabled my comment section, because I really need to protect myself from people who say things like that. So yeah, be careful what you say to people. You can really hurt people with the things that you say. So if you have a friend who's struggling, say the best thing you can say is just to be there for them. And yeah. So that's the video for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in my next video. And if you're curious, you can also check out the link in the description box and see if I have products that interest you. Thank you so much.